We've got some pretty big news in the footballing world today, as numerous sources have reported that Kylian Mbappe has decided not to trigger his extension clause for his contract at Paris Saint-Germain, and that means that his contract will expire in 2024. Fabrizio Romano has reported that PSG does not want to lose Mbappe for free, so that either means that he will be signing a contract extension this summer, or he will leave the club. So just 1 year after the Mbappe saga that almost saw him join Real Madrid, we're back here again. And honestly, I don't find this particularly surprising. Fab has reported that PSG is furious about it and that they're surprised by the timing and all that. Personally, I think I'd be mad if I was PSG too, to lose a player of his quality. He was the second best player at this past World Cup, in my opinion, behind Messi. He was PSG's best player this season, and he's one of the brightest young players in football, and he's got his whole career ahead of him. So yeah, I'd be mad too if I was PSG. That being said, from Mbappe's perspective, you've got Messi, who just left the club, Neymar, who looks to be on his way out of the club, and then you've got year after year after year of failures in the Champions League. And Kylian Mbappe has pretty much done everything there is to do in football except win the Champions League. He's already won a World Cup. He's already won numerous league titles with PSG. And he wants to win the Ballon d'Or. He wants to win the Champions League. He wants to further his legacy. And to be quite honest, that's not really going to happen at PSG. I really don't see him winning a Ballon d'Or or a Champions League at PSG. There's a reason why Messi wanted to leave. Yes, he wasn't happy there, and he was treated very poorly and unfairly by the fans, but also the project and the plans are just a little unclear. They kind of just throw money around and hope it sticks. A couple seasons ago, they had that huge transfer window where they brought in Messi and Sergio Ramos and Hakimi, Wijnaldum, a whole bunch of big guys, big names. They were expected to do big things, and it never really panned out for them. So I think Mbappe is poised to leave PSG probably this summer. And honestly, would not surprise me if he forces his way to Real Madrid. And that is going to be the only place that he ends up if he leaves PSG. He's not going to go play anywhere else. Real Madrid is his dream club. Everyone knows that. So he's either going to Real Madrid or he's signing a new contract with PSG. One thought I did actually have, though, is maybe he is opting out of his contract to give himself a little bit of leverage and maybe try and convince PSG to hire a certain coach or sign certain players. And I think that could be part of what he's trying to do. That being said, I still think he wants to be at Real Madrid. The only reason he stayed last season was because PSG convinced him with a deal that he just couldn't refuse. It was so much money, he just couldn't refuse. But now I think he's ready to move on. And so I do think that if I was to make a prediction for what will happen this summer, I think we will see Kylian Mbappe transfer to Real Madrid. I just really don't see him extending his contract at PSG because it doesn't further his desires and his motives. It is possible, I suppose, that he could stay at PSG and let his contract run out. I don't know that you can really force a player to leave, especially a player like Mbappe. And I agree that it would be devastating to lose him for free. I think he could garner quite the transfer fee this summer. And not that PSG is really desperate for money. They got plenty of that, but just the thought of losing Mbappe for nothing is a real blow. Those are my thoughts. I'm not surprised at all by the news when I saw the notification that Mbappe had opted out of his contract extension. I was like, well, there's the least surprising news of this transfer window. So we'll see what happens. Let me know down in the comments what you think Mbappe will end up doing. Is he going to be back at PSG for the upcoming season? Will he go to Real Madrid this summer? Will it be next summer? Or will he shock everyone and find his way to a different club?